Okay, well, welcome everyone to the August 9th meeting of the County Bike and Pedestrian Committee. And we'll do a quick introductions and what you've been doing this summer. And we'll start with Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg Parker, City Council Liaison to the Bike Ped Committee. And I've taken up cycling again. I've been trying to get at least 5 and pushing up to 8 and trying to get to my pre-COVID of 10.
Good. Okay, good. I'm Mindy Monaco, Chair, and a very fun bike trip to Amsterdam and Belgium and France, and then bike and barge trip. Great, highly recommend it. Bike plan started, and otherwise, been doing some of the Parks Plan Steering Committee meetings and city and Clackamas County bike ped meetings. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Mike Hemston, and I don't have anything that exciting to share as far as I've been out of the country, but I've been mostly this summer kind of doing stuff with grandkids and riding around town mostly. Big long rides, but you have a 60-mile-an-hour average going around town. Yeah, or a little more. Or a little bit more. I don't know.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, and that was well out of Olympic 6.
I'm Britt Ash, and I'm not really doing too much exciting stuff this summer. I'm trying to learn Spanish for a trip later in the year, and I'm doing the Tuesday night community ride stuff every week around 6 o'clock. And that's like Eola Hills.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm doing the southern route, which is a little less.
Yeah.
It's longer, but a little less because I don't like riding down.
Oh, good. Yeah.
At least like steep winding.
Yeah.
Visitors.
Yeah.
So I'm Robert Bitter. So you'll introduce yourself. And we are avid bike riders. That's what we do every day. I figured out the last time I didn't ride was 4th of July. We average 9 miles a day, and we have hybrid bikes. We don't have road bikes, and we just ride around Kennedy. And I'm 67 miles a week.
I call them memory holes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm Bruce Parker, and with Bikes New together, Kathy, I'm Mindy's cousin. Yeah, we accompanied Mindy and Raphael on the bike and barge trip from Amsterdam to Bruges, and it was a lot of fun. And then I got home 1 week, well, it wasn't even a week. I did bike rides northwest. I think 450 miles, I'm not sure, something from that nature. Starting in Walla Walla, we went down to the Wallowas and came back. It was a great trip. And then 2 weeks later, I went and did another ride with called the Olympic Discovery Trail. It goes from Fort Townsend, Port Angeles. The next was the state park, Salt Creek, with the name, and then we went to Forks over on the coast. We went across the northern end of the Olympic Peninsula, and then turned around and came back. That was a great ride. And today, I did something with the county, pedestrian bike advisory committee, during the chair, where we're promoting the, Clackamas Regional, it was titled, Clackamas Regional Center Improvements, say $23.8 million. A lot of the infrastructure around I-405 and Clackamas Center. For example, as you go across the Sunnyside overpass over 205, it used to be a lot more narrow. It had an extra lane. The bike, I mean, the pedestrian path was very narrow, so I call bike. And the pedestrian path, I think I had a bike at this amount. It was really, now it's a wide, both bike track and bicycle. And that extends all the way from 82nd to Stevens Road now. So it's that's one little segment. It's segment. So anyway, I'll stop. I spent 4 or 5 hours on that from there because they were making a video. They need some subjects. So it's subject. So that's what I've been doing.
Well, and you also do the. Gosh, you guys, I'm having one of those nights. You share the.
I share the Clackamas County bike path, yes, and sat on the Parks and Rec meetings, and I worked on the Parks and Rec master plan. I've been our go-between with the River Watch.
Rick has every Tuesday night meetings, I think, every day.
I do. So anyway, that's what I've been doing.
Hello, everyone. Tyler Mazur, City Canby Economic Development Tourism Coordinator, and staff liaison to the Bike Ped Committee. I've been enjoying also biking to and from work, and also with the family. During spring break this year, my oldest, who was 4 at the time, went from training wheels to no training wheels, Sun River. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And a good place for him to learn and go from that transition. And then my middle son is just got a bike for his birthday with training wheels. We got the whole family in there and the baby's in the stroller with me. So we're enjoying the family bike riding this summer.
Any boy or girl?
What's that? So the top 2 are boys and then the baby. Yeah.
It's a poster child, bike fan.
And I have more information about Emma, but I'll let Emma introduce herself. She's with the city of.
I am Emma Porpolo. I'm the news planner. I'm at the city. I am the news planner. I am also going to be a staff liaison on the committee, so my bike hasn't seen much use recently. It's a little part of my commute down. I'm up to 30 miles. It's a little sweaty. But I have been using finally got my paddleboard.
I did not catch your name.
Oh, Emma Porpolo.
You spelled your last name.
Sure, it's PORRICOL. It's
like a nice Italian name.
yes. You would be correct.
Well, welcome. We're thrilled to have you.
Yes, welcome. I'm really thrilled to have you too. Yeah.
I'm Cliff Ash. I went on the Olympic Peninsula bike ride that Bruce discovered. And we did go to parks. You know, it's famous for certain movie. I wasn't impressed.
What movie?
You didn't find any vampire?
I should know this. What movie?
Oh, come on.
Oh, Emma's on it.
Twilight.
What?
Twilight?
Oh. See, I don't have kids to write it.
Wrong generation. They also had a Sasquatch story.
In sports, do they get more rain than any place else in the United States? Is that
No.
right? No.
They get a lot of rain, but not more than anybody.
That was a stop on my parents' honeymoon trip.
They were Twilight fans.
Yeah, yeah. must have been. Thank you. Jeff? What have you been up to this summer?
Oh, I've been playing a lot of golf and I've been riding my bike. So, but right now I'm in COVID jail. So that's why I'm not there. Today should be my last day of COVID jail.
Oh, good. Well, looks like you're doing pretty good. How have you been feeling?
Oh, I've felt fine.
Good.
So, yeah, no issues.
Ron, can you hear us?
What was that?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What have you been doing this summer?
Well, I've been recovering from a broken foot.
Not fun. Oh,
And during the hot weather, it's kind of hard to wear a boot.
yeah. Oh, we wish you speedy healing. How much longer?
Well, I stopped wearing the boot, so probably about a month or two.
Oh. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. And Ron is kind of our liaison from the Landmarks and Heritage Committee. And so we appreciate his time and effort in joining us. Okay, on to. So good. I'm so sorry. Thank you for sending out the minutes.
Oh, yeah. I had, just so there would be no confusion.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a minute, so thank you. So, any amendments or correct edits on the minutes?
We make a motion.
Oh, you're just at airports. I was just going to suggest that, there, where it says $50,000 set aside for, and the term is micro grants. And then also just for clarification on the last line, on page 1 above Traverso phase, I would just put in parentheses, when road to Traverso, just say adjacent to gun club for clarification. So people know, in regard to the paving, what they're referring to. But that's it. Are those changes acceptable? So I'll welcome.
With the, I propose or, take the minutes as written with three amendments, two amendments.
Any discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor? Jeff, good. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Minutes approved with those two little edits. And now on to our public comment. And I'm actually, I don't know if you guys noticed, you're kind of on the agenda, but I'll let you kind of, would you like to, we're going to be talking about hot spots and, you know, some hot spots around town. And I included some of those comments from your letter, but we received a great letter from the bidders, and we appreciate that and welcome you. And thank you, Greg, for passing it on to us. And so we'll. Do you want to make any public comments at this point? You're welcome to.
Well, the bike lanes need clearing. There's a couple places on Sequoia and right across from Let's see, what's that street goes across Redwood? That goes past. That street. I'm sorry,
That is
I don't
right,
know,
Margaret.
and then around
Kind of
the
a
corner.
Redwood?
So there's a branch hanging down, that if you hit it, you
Oh, yeah.
feel it. And there's another branch around the corner, right across the street from them.
Wait, so the branch,
That's it.
I think it's, we tried to be clear in that.
Yeah, probably. And then
Yeah.
around the corner.
There are a couple, most of them are on the, I guess you'd call it the south, northbound direction. You know, yeah, to go.
Yeah.
Most, you know, on the Wilco side.
So,
Yeah. And most of them on that side.
And I still have to go
There are a
around.
couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, only reason we really mention that, we know where they are. But, you know, all it takes is somebody who doesn't, and also they see liability in the city, so.
Yeah.
That's, you know.
Right, it forces you into the line of trust too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta be honest. Yeah, very.
Anyway, but everything else, as we said.
And our public works director is looking forward to the recommendations from tonight that he's ready to go ahead.
yeah, and, so we're not only happy to have you here, but also let you know, we've got quite a responsive, public works group, with Jerry Nelson and Jeff Snyder. And we can give you that contact information too. You can contact us. And also, Bruce, you had some, sent off some information also on the. Do you want to share that?
Sure, actually, this is your comment about, Sequoia, you have a bike system loop and pavement in the bike lane. And the concern was it doesn't stay green long enough to get across. Plus 99. Right, and so we had, at the county level, we had, Carl Olson, make a presentation several months ago. And so he does that for the county. I was under the impression that he also did control it for the ODOT, which he responded today, he said he doesn't, but he put it in he forwarded everything to the person. We'll take care of it and get it adjusted. And so I think it's going to be taken care of, you know, kind of watch, and sure it does now. So that's done.
The other part of some of the, the main issues that, we all have a copy of that. Some of the main issues were speeding, keeping the lanes clear, and, then the branch. And we're going to be reaching out. I've been negligent this summer, I have to say. But kind of are trying to coordinate well with the traffic safety committee also. You know, so the chairs are kind of, you know, we built a better relationship with the Parks Board, and we have a good line of communication. So our citizen advisory groups can better represent for our citizens to make sure that we get to the level or the people here at the city that need to hear these things. So I'm thinking that the speeding issues along those are going to be helpful. We can write a letter, and also the traffic safety committee can too. And go ahead.
Finish. I'll have one.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of where I was.
So we gave his letter and forwarded it to that committee. Because there's several.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's out of our jurisdiction, or our realm about speeding, but it isn't, that is theirs.
Yeah.
And, but you know, there's several issues there that we need to address. Such as, clean
I would
violence.
suggest highlighting the biggest things that like that they could address.
Yeah, and but so
Or
we
you already
can
covered what it is.
suggest enforcement. Yeah, yeah. So we can get this.
My thinking, our thinking,
Yeah.
I believe in this. So, Counselor Parker can relate to this. Decision on what to enforce, how they spend their time is the responsibility of the police department.
Correct.
They have their own strategy, they have their own funding, and they make those decisions. However, if the city council encourages them, consider some different strategies to it, maybe it's time to start enforcing speed stops around the city in general. It probably would happen, and you know, the chief girl would do, you know, whatever's appropriate. He's got a department. And I've had these before, but I still think it's a matter of, you know, where's your focus?
Yeah.
If they need, you know, and we all know if there's a little behavior, if there's enforcement, people get pulled over, or some behavior will go up. So, you know, we're just suggesting it's time for people to realize, oh, okay.
By the way, I really appreciated when you talked about how it can take a little bit of time when you're on a bicycle to get going once you're at a stop. And I think people who don't ride bikes might not necessarily appreciate that because it is true. You can't, it's not like a car. Yeah.
Particularly those of us who ride the heavier, slower bikes, you know, things that really long time, which is why we get caught on 99.
Here comes.
Yeah, you're right. You just get the speed a little quicker, but yeah.
And we've had experiences, I would say 90% of the time people are really nice to us. But we have had some really awful experiences where people are yelling at us because we are in the road. And that is, Territorial is one place on that crosswalk over there. You know, we're not gonna yell at because we're not pedestrians, we're bicycles. But we're trying to get across. And we're like, what? Anyway,
I'm sure the drill riders.
Oh, of course.
all of them.
but we don't want to have anybody on 99 because we can't make it across. And most people can't make it across. If somebody pushes the cadet walk signal, there's enough time. But there's
So, and I do think that it's been our experience that, you know, at least the city has been pretty responsive a lot of the time. And so, we just need to make sure that we are communicating and we'll also email contact at the city to, you know, and if you CC, you know, to, especially for like, you know, something that needs a sweep and things like that. Can I ask a question? How much are these fuel prices, putting a pinch on the city's funds for fuel for
Impact on the budget.
on the budget? Not that you can quantify that.
Well, what's interesting is that we built our budget for the coming 12 months based upon $5 a gallon.
Oh, really?
So I think fuel has fallen by every day for the last 42 days. So as long as it keeps going in that direction, we're actually going to come out ahead.
Okay, that's encouraging.
Occasionally we make good decisions. We made better decisions when Robert was on the city. I took this position.
Put your time in. So, and I do realize. I guess, when all of you on the council, I-
District. Yeah, I ran for mayor and lost. Randy Carson. And so when I ran, Councilor Parker chose to run for the spot. Well, he wasn't the spot. They ended up being, so. I'm so sorry.
All right, so we're
Is
gonna
it-
be
is it-
talking a little more about this as we continue. Why don't we just continue on kind of what I'm referring to as hot spots?
Do I
And,
get my council report? Because I've got some fun news to report.
oh, sure. Oh, then what, you want to do that first? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna like this.
Okay.
The Public Works Department says, that they will add as a regular part of their maintenance, not only Knightsbridge, but Goodsbridge, at the recommendation of this committee.
That's fabulous. That is fabulous.
Even though they're upside down,
We operate on a complaint basis. Jerry's attitude is, I'm gonna do what's right until I get in trouble, so.
Where is?
Goodsbridge is Ivy, so going south.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
having to go there from 1930
That's where people, so that's where people park and, like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little dirty.
Yeah.
But right now they have an ID, they're just finishing, the project in the streets on the west side. Now on the east side, they're starting another development and there's, I'm worried about, that 4-inch rock out into the bike lane.
We're keeping a close eye on that, but all you have to do is drop me or Jerry and they'll take care of it. Did you want me to continue? Okay. Now I think we all remember when Jerry Nelzine was, the lead worker of Public Works. We didn't have a Public Works director for several years. Then Jerry was promoted from lead worker to director. It's now official that, Jeff Snyder has been promoted from Parks Director to the Public Works Lead Director. So he has both Parks and Public Works underneath him. So that's a well-deserved promotion for him. That leaves open our Parks position, which we're hoping to recruit from within, because we like doing that. So we've got those things going on in Public Works. Did I send you a note asking to send the budget link out to the committee?
Oh. I don't know if I can follow up with that.
Actually, there are a few geeks on this committee who might enjoy this, but here's the page that I'm most proud of. This is our capital projects. And this line here for the next 5 years, we're going to spend $25 million on roads around the area. And I just wanted to point out the ones that we're working on this year. The Walnut extension, the industrial out to 99. Today we finished up our survey work. And I'm glad you're here because this is going to be a legacy project for you. Because once we punch that hole through, the adjacent property owners are prepared to annex those areas where from 99 Roadhouse 99 or Spinning Wheel into the city, all of that into the city, and that is zoned R 1.5 and R2. One of the things I've discovered is that the only way we can get through this community multifamily housing is to build it someplace where there aren't other people. That's where we put the Dahlia, that's where we put Sequoia Grove. And so I think it would be great to use that properties out there to fill that huge missing part for apartment complexes. But it's going to be up to you guys, and it's going to be up to you to design that area. This is going to be a chance for us to turn it into a pedestrian area with bikeways that lead back into Fred Meyer and that sort of thing. So that's going to be happening over the next 3 to 5 years. Within the next 2 years, we expect the road to be built, which is really blazing speeds for this type of project. But we've got the money and it's our #1 project in order to vent industrial traffic straight out to 99 and free up the intersection at Fred Meyer. So that is a big deal.
not only Queens Road, a lot safer.
Yes. Locust Street, North Locust from 4th to 10th. We're putting in 1.3 million this year. Northeast Territorial, North Redwood intersection improvement.
Yes, it's gonna be a four-way stop.
We're putting $250,000 into that.
Is that gonna be a stop sign or a light?
I think it's gonna be a light.
Redwood and
I think it's gonna be a light. Last I heard. The South Ivy project. We're putting nearly $2 million into that. Street maintenance, about $1 million. And then taking a look at out years in 25, 26, and 27. We've got, we're going to be taking in county roads. You know, there was a stalemate for the county and the city for 25 years. Finally, Mayor Hodgson and I got the council to go along with the idea that we're just gonna have to take in these crappy roads. And we got some money from the county for each of these roads. But to me, people don't make any difference. That it is a county road. We can't just keep getting by and saying, well, that's a county road and suck it. So we are putting millions of dollars into that. On the transit side, again, that entire program is paid for by taxes on business, which is cheaper than if they were in TriMet, and also on grants. All of the buses on grants, I'm pushing them to get electric vehicles. So we're going to be moving to that, and we're going to be installing over the next year 11 transit shelters, which I think are important to show that we respect alternative transit.
Are those mostly on 99?
Initially, because that's where it's easiest to get the right of way. So we're going to the low hanging fruit. We're going to be laying down I don't know what the term of it is, little black rope that does the counter of cars.
Oh, yeah.
No.
The counter.
Thank you. And we're going to lay that down on the gun club road, just to get some baseline information. You know, the people that live out there say there's a lot of traffic. Those of us who go out there, we don't really see it. So we're going to lay it down there and get a baseline.
Where are you going to lay it across? Up to the top on by 13th or down by the gun club or further down the road? Where's it going to go across?
You'll be pleased to know they don't let me make that decision. I don't.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know either, but my assumption was it was going to be between 13th and the gun club, particularly for that repaving that so desperately needs repaving along there. And one comment that was made on our tour was it depends on the time of year down there. So, and they had that conversation with Jerry, so Jerry's aware of that. And so I'm sure they'll make sure they get some good feedback on that to make sure it's the right time of year with a good calendar.
Smarter people will make those
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning at 7:30, if you'd like to go online, the surveyors are going to be out at Community Park. Some people call that the pond park. But we're putting in 2 new bathrooms there and expanding the parking and I am going to be pushing for a lot more investment in that park. I was down there on a hot day last week and how busy it was and how used it was, that I really think out of respect to people who don't have air conditioning, that this really is a place to go and cool off. And I would love to see that. Finally, another little odd thing that's a intersection between the fire department and the city's code enforcement is that this year we are affirmatively taking action against overgrown vegetation. That if you see any, send me a note. The code is 3 feet and nothing over 3 feet, but which there's a lot of. But the fire department is especially concerned that this year due to the weather that we've had so much vegetative growth that we're going against our long-standing city of Canby tradition of complaint driven, waiting until your neighbor is mad at you and then you're the only guy on the block that has to do it. Never been completely happy with that particular enforcement policy, but I haven't got the strength to change it. But anyway, this year, as our police department, as our fire department go by, they're making notes, and our code enforcement person is going and sending notes saying, you got to take care of this. So if you see anything in your area, just drop me a line.
Does this apply to sidewalks also?
Yes, it is. And quickly, before anybody says it, yes, there's some city-owned properties that have overgrown vegetation. So,
And, so if we see overgrowth, who's the best person to
Just
contact?
drop me an email or Jerry,
Okay.
either way.
Jared.
Jerry's the receptacle of all this stuff, now he's director. And then he quickly pushes it off. I have never seen a person who has been promoted to management, who has so quickly been able to disassociate himself from the day-to-day operations. Usually, as I've moved up the management chain and looked at fellow managers, they should continue to want to do what they did best. And this year, when Jerry came to present the maintenance budget, we asked him a question and he said, "Ask Spencer." I don't know. I don't do that. That's it, Madam Chair.
That's it?
That's it.
That's all?
I gave you everything I had.
Thank you very much. Since we are on that, Tyler, any updates that pertain to our?
Yeah. So, follow up from last meeting, there was some conversation about the traverso section of the road where there was some potholes and stuff like that. I have spoken with the Public Works and, they are 90% completed filling those potholes up. And so that should be completed there pretty soon, the potholes. There was some questions about the community small grant program, and $50,000 was approved by the city council. And the economic director is working with local resident Carol Palmer, whom most of you may have known. And she was a major advocate for this program, and so once there's more information, we'll definitely let you guys know how to apply and all that good stuff to the small grant program. Next steps for the Traverso property. I did again speak with Jamie Stickle, and she will be reaching out to Danny Miller to identify like a timeline for when we will receive a management plan. And as soon as she has this, she will email the Bike and Ped Committee with more information and details from that. So, so that's an update on there. And then there were suggestions of directional signs downtown leading to the logging trail, the 9th and 11th, if I'm not mistaken, where you could access the logging trail. And I brought this up with both the Public Works Director and the Economic Development Director, and further conversation will be had in kind of propelling that and seeing where we go from there. So the Public Works Department has been upgrading the road striping around town. The main lines, the bike lanes have both been completed, and they are currently updating the stencils, curb lines, and continental sidewalks. And maybe most of you all know what continental sidewalks are, but I wanted to bring a little graph or a little picture here of what that is. So it's when they're going. Yeah, exactly. And in the lines, the like dash. So it allows them to stay on the ground longer because they're going along with the tires and stuff like that. So that'll be happening here shortly. And then the Public Works Department has put in a new crosswalk at North Locust and North Territorial. This is much needed improvement that was paid for by the developers, thanks to the planning staff. And
Sorry, I just live 2 doors down from that, and I really appreciate having that there, because it is so utilized. Yeah, Locust and Territorial, you know, that new striping we just put in, it's just striping, but at least people know it's not a total freeway.
right. And that was thanks to the planning department. And speaking of planning, we have Emma Porcolo with us. the newest planner in the planning department of the city of Canby. And now that we're all staffed up, we're looking to see how staff can best serve the committees and commissions of the city of Canby. And just wanted to introduce you guys to Emma, as there may be changes in the future for staff liaison under the Bike and Ped Committee. And she is great. She comes with lots of great experience and knowledge and to further the city of Canby. And I don't know if you want to give a little background of kind of,
So, I, before this, was actually a planning consultant with a firm up in Portland, but I've worked in pretty much almost every jurisdiction in the state. I've covered my ground. I do have a little bit of a background in transportation planning, more focused on the policy side, writing policies for plans, writing code amendments for transportation, looking at standards, working on transportation system plans, interchange area management plans, walkability plans. Got a whole bunch.
You're perfect.
All right. So, yeah, I'm excited to work on all the bike type stuff.
So, this might be an obvious question, but, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how do you see us utilizing, because I've been wanting a planner. And so, because we had one before and I really appreciate it. And so, and I'll share some of our ideas too, but what are some obvious things that, because there might be things you think of that.
I'm still kind of learning staff role in these types of committees,
Sure.
but I do think that there's a lot of opportunity. I know some of you probably don't know the TSP update is in the pipeline and hopefully will be happening relatively soon. So I think that that's a really great opportunity for us to work together and be able to provide some input. It's kind of a collective group and work through that. And then, just kind of helping out Tyler with some of these, little things that come up and helping navigate those through the right flows.
Something that happened before when we had staff changes, so that this doesn't fall between the cracks. But it is routine for the bike committee to receive all development plans for their review. So when those come out, of sending the link off to the bike.
The whole
Do
committee.
you know what you mean about like every development plan? So like if you did a single family home, are you looking to look at a?
No,
Like
we're
larger-
looking more at the plan view developments
So like a
and,
subdivision,
yeah.
a
Yeah,
larger?
Yeah, not the granular individual ones, but use your good sense, but whenever we're talking about increased traffic, changes in traffic flow, a substantial resident
sidewalk.
development, that sort of thing. But I just remember when we
Yes.
had a change
That's exactly where I was
we
going.
forgot for a couple months that wasn't happening, so. I don't know who we still have on staff.
Yeah, developments involve sidewalks or paths or walking paths.
And so also industrial and commercial zones, we should probably make sure we are apprised of some of the, even bike parking and crosswalks and sidewalks that, just a little extra set of eyes on, that if we have comment, we'll make it, otherwise, you won't hear from us.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and mention that when Columbia Distributing went out, on the backside, there was a little bit of pushback from the developer on whether a sidewalk and a bike lane was really needed. So that's where it's helpful to have some advocacy on this sort of thing.
And I think several will use that bike lane all the time.
Yeah, but there was a brief pushback saying, oh, come on, why do we need a sidewalk on something that's just facing farmland?
So, because you have bicycles.
Turns out to be a great stretch of pavement.
But give a little bit of political cover here. I think things are still in motion
Yeah.
upstairs on staffing and that sort of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
so.
But we appreciate having you here and look forward to working very much. Yeah, and so that's kind of where I was going in, you know, we need to be, you know, we usually, that was kind of our main part of our meeting, you know, 7 years ago was just looking at plans and
And is the preference to do that in the meeting, or is that more, you know, have 2 weeks, or, you know, have, hey, here's 2 weeks, please get your permits to by.
I think just sending it out when they send it out to the,
Planning commission.
yeah, for review, and we'll look at it, and then if there's anything significant, have it, so we can pop it up on the screen and, you know, make comment, if there's any issues.
Has the bike and ped committee been receiving those lately, or has it been a
No.
while?
We have asked for it
Okay.
over and over and over again, and never,
Okay.
We've been,
yeah.
it's been a
Yeah,
bit of
I
time.
just wanted-
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely work on that, and see if we can get a good system.
Yeah, and so it would be to all our bike ped members.
Yep. And there is, I did want to mention an opportunity to come downtown. Canby's big weekend, big night out street dance, August 26th, 6 to 11 p.m. It's going to be lots of fun, free activities for the whole family to enjoy. So make your way downtown, and there'll be local businesses serving food and beverages. So that'll kick off the big weekend, and then we've got the Pet Sports Cruising, Swan Island Dahlia Festival, and there is also the farmers market, and it goes into the Swan Island Dahlia Festival on Sunday. So lots of fun activities that weekend. So come out that weekend and invite people from out of town to come visit Canby. So.
Thank you. And
I have one. I was told to tell everybody that the parks, there's gonna be a presentation about the Parks Master Plan update at council.
great.
That's right. The planning commission has endorsed it, and now it comes to us presumably for adoption.
There'll be a presentation about it.
And thank you guys for your participation in the parks development plan. I know it's been frustrating at times, and but because you participated, it's a better plan. You made a difference.
Thank you. We appreciate being able to be a part of things, so. So that is next Wednesday
Regular city council meeting.
already, and, so Stefan, let's, I'm gonna jump back up to the top of the list here. I know we're kind of jumping back and forth. Parks Master Plan update. Yeah, sat in on that, and just, I think they came up with a good plan, but just needed to advocate a little bit for making sure that, as indicated in the public outreach, that there was some trails follow-up for planning in the short term. I don't know that people quite understood what the suggestion there was, but it was the most requested thing from the public was bike paths and good walking. So we just tried to make sure that we got that on the short term, getting plans rolling for it, for primarily an Emerald Necklace. And so, anyway, think that was done, and then other things are, you know, traversals kind of more midterm to really long term. So, anyway, take a look at that, and otherwise, we will go to Brits on minutes.
Yeah, so I think everybody should have gotten all the potential minute takers probably got a list of, and if you cannot take the minutes on your assigned month, I'm sure that you can talk to somebody who hasn't taken the minutes in a while and they'll be able to likely switch the deal. That probably shouldn't be an issue. Could get in trouble if they're not there when they need to, but just.
Can I make one request?
Yeah.
And I hope this is okay, but I don't mean to single Bruce out, but he puts in so much time beyond this committee for this committee. Unless you really want to take him, Bruce.
I don't need another thing on my to-do list.
Yeah.
If somebody, if you guys.
If you had told me earlier, I would have brought an amended list.
I should have, and that was my bad.
And maybe, so I'll send out a new list and then maybe you could put that on the agenda in the minute you go.
I will do that. And
Thank you for letting me have a pass on this, because it'll let me do something else that's productive for us.
appreciate all that you do. I mean, really do. Okay. Otherwise, everyone okay with the minute taking? Brett? Very much. So let's go back to hotspots on the lane clearings. Do we need to follow up any more on that? Any further comments?
Just, I think in general, it seems like a lot of stuff in the bike lanes
I
all
know.
over the place.
It seems
And,
like
and it's kind of like, are they really doing, switching each lane once a month? I mean, I almost question that, but yet Jeff, you know, they've been pretty responsible and, you know, it's just kind of like, gosh, I hate to see the bike lane in bad shape like fall.
yeah.
There's a lot of rocks, and 4 flat tires and 2 ones from all the bike lanes, but, you know, Tony suggested we change our route. We still fight on all those bike lanes.
Right, and it's some of the best bike lanes that happen.
They have lots of ones or something. There's a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of places, you know, that have big trucks coming right down Territorial, wherever it's road it is. There's a ton of stuff happening. So there's a lot of stuff in the road.
And I guess I understand when there's a lot of construction, a lot of stuff on the road. But there's lots of stuff on the road where there isn't construction.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll send out, so I'm going to indicate, I'll use your letter. And I'll also forward that to Traffic Safety Committee and have a conversation. And I will also forward that to Jeff Snyder and make comment from this committee. We talked about Southeast First in the line of Territorial, South 13th, Knightsbridge Road. And then I'll mention speeding there and that they might have a talk with law enforcement. Now also, and then the branches, I'll mention to Jeff.
If I had to prioritize, I would say the branches be number one. That's from a liability, from a risk standpoint, that's the one that can cause the most damage.
Well, as it turns out, about a week and a half ago, I sent an email to the chair. And in fact, I took a copy of this map and I said, those trees need to be trimmed. And they were gonna take care of it. And every day I've ridden by there and nothing's happened. I keep thinking,
Not today.
I need to go home and get my
I know, I wanted to do that too.
Your cover letter, include the bidder's letter, because that's a letter from the public. Now you have to do the committee. And saying, we've already complained about it as a committee, but now we're getting a letter from the public. And can I bring up a subject that's kind of related to all the bike lanes? We have to get,
Can I ask a quick question of Chair, Greg? I'm sure you guys have had lots of concerns about these widowmakers on the trees after the, ice storm and things like that. So if it is on private property, but over public,
We can take care of it.
You guys
It's-
can
it's
do
in the
that,
Public
right?
right of way. We have to go.
okay,
Usually as a courtesy, landowner, and usually they'll say,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Who's good?
yeah, and this subject, it's about bike lanes, but it also relates to, we have forgetting. There's a new development, off of 13th and comes off where Sequoia comes all the way up. You go, so look at that, what's the name of that? No. Yeah, no, it's residential, I think. Anyway, it's where the bike.
Oh, you're the orchard.
Yeah, or when you come off the line of road, you come up that hill. And before you get to 13th, it's on your right. Is there a bike lane that we're going to go in there on 13th? And we never saw plans on that, and that's something that should have a bike lane there.
You're talking about between the Lino and then where you're coming off the Lino and you kind of curve around up.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that city street?
No, that's.
Well, you got any residential, it looks like residential going in there.
Yeah, and that's a.
Oh, residential or commercial, either way.
Yeah.
Did you say that was American Steel?
Americans do that, yeah.
No, we're not talking the same time.
It's kind of the north side of 13th, between Sequoia and Malina. That what you're
That new
talking
one
about?
area that's being cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a really good property that.
You said that.
That dumps out.
That is an expansion of American Steel.
Yeah.
It's not residential.
No, I should be able to do that. I can give you three corners. And then, there should be a.
On the line of 13
Oh,
down.
yeah, well, yeah, you can use.
But that's county.
It's Sequoia. It's in the 13th.
Yeah.
And so on the, east side. And it looks, actually where it is on Google Maps.
Yeah.
And that might be the easiest way to
Yeah.
call it.
It's like-
I know, you're a planner. So. It's probably this shape here, yeah, that's being developed. And there should be, and because there's all bike lanes all the way through on 13. And, so there should be bike lanes going on at least that side of the road.
Yeah,
I would- It's a pretty large. park.
Oh, that's.
yeah, and I think these.
Well, that's, well, never make an assumption. You don't get it done now. It won't get
So,
done.
yeah, people are accelerating going up that hill and then bikes are pushed out into the lane or walkers.
Well, I have to wait, there is no slope.
Yeah.
Take the road.
We had,
Already
we
go
had
off.
the plans. They probably should.
So. Yeah, we'd like to. Would like to see the plan.
I'll talk to the planning director tomorrow.
Okay.
Tell him this to his level and see where we are. I'm not sure whether American Seals actually turned in their full development plan or not. But, I'll let Don know. It's Friday.
All right, on then. Along with going on to the proposed Traverso Phase 2 and 3 site visit, I think it would be, I'll talk with Jamie and Dan Miller, and probably the subcommittee, just to see about, we've had concern from some of the people in the Phase 2 area there at the end of Elisha Road, that appreciated Ken Baker and the Carpenters. Letter was sent to Jamie Stickle and myself an email. And so Jamie has it, and I passed it along immediately to Scott Archer and Jerry Nelson also, about some safety concerns on their end. And while we have Dan Miller's help, this is a National Park Service grant that we have to help. Not a monetary grant, but just to help with management of the traversal section of the logging road. Manage that. Anyhow, that Dan Miller is from the National Park Service, and so we're working with him, and I'd like to organize a time to do a site walk with city staff like we did for the Phase 1. And I'll be talking to Jamie about that. And hopefully we get that on the books this season here, like we did for the first. Because I think the adjacent property owners around Elisha would surely appreciate that. And I think the city should know what's going on down on that end. So. Otherwise, Bruce, any Clackamas County updates beyond what you shared?
Yeah, there is. I'll try to keep it short, but I don't do a very good job of that sometimes. So let me know, just tell me, wrap it down. We spent our last monthly meeting, I think part of what we call a project with ODOT out at Redwood. And Redwood has a lot of similarities to Canby, because it's divided by 26, just like 99 divides us. And getting across this highway is a real problem. It is a real problem for the residents of Redwood to get across that highway. And so anyway, it's going to be redone, and there's in the planning stages. And I'll simply say one plan calls for 2 lanes in each direction with a set of turn lane, sidewalks and a bike lane. It's all going to be kind of squished together because there is a whole lot of room. The other option is 3 lanes, 1 lane in each direction with a center turn lane, and more real estate for a bike lane maybe, and sidewalks that are divided from the street. And I know Mike Grimm's over there a second ago, and if you go to the mountain like we both do it every week, we go through Redwood, and there's a tendency to a truck head, and it goes down the 2 lanes right after you get to Redwood, and you speed up, so they have a real speeding problem. So anyway, I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's going to be interesting, and so I'll put that aside. But we're going to get increased traffic to the 205 forward here, so think about that and see what happens. The other is the active transportation plan for the county is over 20 years old, and the committee's being formed on that. I've applied for that committee, and so that looks like connecting between cities, between here in Malala, for example, here in Oregon City. So anyway, that's being done, and any place that isn't, let's see, Damascus was one that, because it was a city and now isn't, now it now needs planning, which wasn't done. The good news is we got a grant for planning and a section of the I-205 bike path that utilizes 80-second drive and then cross, take it to 24. It's a terrible place to cycle. Okay, so that's being underdone. Maybe it was something else I told you about. What was it? That you remember?
It wasn't, I don't think it was county, but it was talking about you guys went up on that Olympic Trail. If you guys ever want to share a little more about that.
I think we are going to talk about that later in the meeting. Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah.
So let me just call the county report good and let somebody get the questions.
Great. Thank you. And Ron, any updates from Heritage and Landmarks?
Oh, yeah. The September 27th issue of the Canby Herald had an article on the Heritage and Landmark Committee, which was pretty good. Now, September 24th, they will be cleaning the graves again. So if anyone on the committee wants to help out, just let me know.
September 24th.
Yes, it's 10 a.m. to noon.
What parade? That was.
Cleaning gravestones at
Oh,
Zion Cemetery.
I thought it said parade.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, they'll be cleaning the grave.
Baker Prairie or where?
Zion.
Zion.
They'll be cleaning the grave markers at Zion Memorial Park.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Britt, any further on updates?
Could I ask, I was having a hard time, hearing the Canby Herald 927. What was, I didn't catch what that was about. He said something happening September 27th in the Canby Herald.
Ron,
Yes,
September 27th, what was September 27th?
September 24th.
Okay, but you mentioned the Canby Herald.
Yeah, that was on the July 27th issue.
Oh, the July 27th issue.
Oh, July
Yeah,
27th.
there was a story about the Heritage Commission.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But it was-
Gotcha.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so outreach, the biggest issue right now is I have to figure out why Bruce got kicked off the Facebook page.
Bad behavior.
I guess. So he can have access to it. And I did a fairly recent posting of the Eco Park, with pictures, and then somebody else who posted about with the benches and stuff.
That's all, yeah, both.
Yeah, it's on post. Yeah, it's on post.
I was really thrilled that there was a bench.
That
in the
was
shade
neat.
right when we did it.
Yeah, so that was a good post. So,
Yeah.
so everybody get on there and like it.
Yeah.
And keep posting stuff like that. It's great.
This reminds me something we haven't mentioned that the bittersweet you might be happy to hear. This spring and summer, we've worked with the Parks Department and there's going to be some safety rules, etiquette rules for the walking room.
They're posted.
Are they up?
They're already up.
Oh, good.
They're up. Violated.
Great.
I got pictures of it from Heather. I think it's gonna put up a couple pictures of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll call this, it call center outreach.
Yeah.
We'll let people know.
Very happy to see.
Watch out for each other
Oh, so
on the trail.
maybe somebody should post a picture.
Pictures, that's what I get.
Oh, that was get you back.
Send to you, you can post.
Yeah, but I want to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Your.
So this is the one place, they're not on opposite sides, it's all in one post, that wasn't held. Jerry said he couldn't do it, but that's the way it turned out, and that looks fine.
It looks fine.
Jerry, can you see our, do I need to share the screen? Can you see what we're seeing? Okay. Let me share that here. Perfect, okay.
Oh, there it is. Can you see it now?
I see that.
Good. Good.
It worked this time.
I think Bruce and Russ and the Parks Committee and Public Works are
Maybe.
put great together.
To me, when I first saw that, I thought, this is a path that people care about. That there's somebody putting some effort out.
Good. Good. I hope it helps.
There's others too.
Do you want me to go to the next one? I just didn't know if you, oh, are they all the same? Okay.
But we had some that pulls these up, we have some unfinished business. There's the underpass where we need a dashed line to indicate the state of your side. And I know we're gonna get a little resistance from Parks and Rec, because I already mentioned it to them. I would like us to get maybe a motion suggesting that, and then before we present to them, I want to do a video of one bike can be from one bike direction, another bike can be from the other, because it's a blind corner.
Yeah.
So maybe we could get a motion to put, to that effect.
Just somewhere at the one under Fourth Avenue then.
A dashed line under the underpass, where it drops down either side, so
Let's
let's work out the wording.
consider that. And let's talk about it now. Is there something else that we should be putting there? What's gonna be most effective? And it seems like in our experience recently in some pretty amazing places like the Netherlands, Belgium, and Paris, they had a great. It seems like this was kind of the course they followed. Usually if there was a dangerous corner, they might put the dotted line to indicate to stay to your side. But it wasn't a continuous thing. Is that right?
Right. Well, but in places it was continuous, but I know the Parks and Rec, they've already talked about it. I know the mayor objects to the whole thing being striped.
Oh, yeah, and we're not.
But all I'm saying is the overpass is fourth. And so, maybe 100 feet on either side of that underpass, we have it striped. And then you got the bulkhead of the overpass, you could put up a sign above graffiti level that it was more than a kid can read.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, you can read the right, because it's not going to be right.
And slow.
Yeah, I know, that we can work out.
Works with a mirror at any point there help?
A mirror might be helpful, but I just think it attracts graffiti and I'd say, start with a dashed line.
All right.
And start there, and if that seems to be not a good idea, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cheap and I think it's a good start.
Yeah, I mean, the city has the equipment to do the striping. And if we get this done early enough, we can get it done this year versus waiting till next year when it's, we get the winter and it's too wet.
Like the striping machine out today.
That's right.
I'll entertain a motion to put a stripe.
I make the motion.
Sure.
That I write a little more condensed motion than we have, but it'll be
Yes.
striping around the underpass on 4th Street in appropriate signage.
Any further discussion? Oh, is there a
Something
second?
that comes to mind, I was thinking about the stripes going underneath that over the pass, and maybe one thing you could do is paint right as the stripes start, you could put, you know, caution, paint it right on the pavement or something. That, I don't know if that'd add anything or not. Just, yeah, maybe that's all you need to say, or maybe the stripes are self-explanatory, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the up on the bulkhead, the sign saying keep right.
Okay,
I think that's, if everyone does keep right and stays on their half, it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and you can run it by our.
And I can tell you, Parks and Rec is gonna run this too. And, you know, oh, yeah. But that's okay. This came out to be, I think, a really good product in the end. But
Yeah.
that's because they chewed on it too. So,
So, is there a second? Or, discussion further?
second.
Mike, and otherwise all in favor? Okay, that's unanimous, thank you.
Rick, do you have, are you okay for the minutes? What you have?
Okay. And Cliff, do you have anything from sidewalks? And otherwise, let's take a look on adjournment, and then we can, you guys can share about the Heritage Trail or after we adjourn.
Mindy, did you want-
Want to hear about it now?
We know what we're talking about. They
Yeah.
don't. So let's go through the motion to close and then they'll
Yeah.
understand in a moment.
Well, I mean, it's just. Let's take a look at our next. Evidently, I don't have my phone. Our next meeting will be. September, kind of old school. Come on. All right. September 12th, no, September 13th. Okay. Next meeting, September 13th, will people be in town, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
All right. With that, take a motion to adjourn. Oh,
Did you want this up for discussion or
Oh.
was this for something else?
yes. So, Jeff, sorry about that. Before we adjourn. So this kind of goes back to the signage that we had talked about. Tyler, to some of that's, 9th and 11th that we had talked about, trying to get that signage, kind of like on the order of, and correct me if I'm wrong, kind of like, well, are they the brown signs that kind of indicate where to go to the Dahlias, to the fairgrounds, and to some of those? We were thinking possibly on that side of that type of sign.
Okay.
For logging road access, as,
With a
something
similar
that,
look.
yeah,
Okay.
basically.
I'll
So
present-
what's the yellow for?
I believe this
Jeff?
is a long.
What I was showing there, Cliff, is a route. We were talking about a route from the logging road to downtown. And so I mapped out what I thought were two decent routes. One which goes down 10th and then up to downtown, and then the other across 4th in front of the fairgrounds. So I thought that we could signage from downtown to the logging road and from logging road to downtown to help drive cyclists to downtown.
And within a year, we're going to have a ramp coming. I'm looking for the logging road bridge.
It'll be on the south side of 99.
That blue line.
Here we go. Thank you. That within a year, we're going to have at least one ramp coming down into Fred Meyer and Jerry's optimistic he might be able to get one on the other side as well. But we've begun survey work today to at least get this so people can get on and off here.
So by August of 2023?
Yes,
And
probably sooner. This isn't that big of a deal, but I do want to have the.
But it is a big deal.
Yes, but I do want also the plans being reviewed by this committee because it's going to have a major impact on pedestrian and cycling of finally having a real access on and off the walking road bridge. I meant from an engineering and construction standpoint, it's not that.
I think too, maybe, as their, do they have a Pine Street all plan done for improvements yet? Right?
Close, very close.
And maybe, if we can get those plans regarding Pine Street improvements, we might be able to, make sure we get some good, feed pedestrian and bike facility towards that logging road, along 9th and 11th there.
People who live on 11th, I'm just trying to clarify, where are you talking about?
Where you can ride into the logging road from
Right.
9th and 11th, off of Pine.
So this would be on Pine Street, directing people down to 9th and 11th.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
just to let them know
But then
that
to the Pine Street.
there's access to the logging road there. And also to get people coming off the logging road, signage on the logging road saying
Over
you
to
know,
Pine and
downtown.
or whatever.
this way. Yeah. But I think that's kind
Yeah,
of,
we're-
shouldn't we
we're-
start with where the plan is for the Pine Street? What order should we? I don't know that we should be. So Jeff, we might even have a ramp if Jerry Melzine is successful. But otherwise, I do think we should be in on the planning on 9th to 11th. What do you guys think about this idea? And any feedback?
I like the idea, not for sure the one on the 4th is gonna work, but I'd like to see more review of that possibility. Because I think it brings it more downtown quicker than the 10th Street option. And, you know, I think as we get the ramps figured out, and so, I think here, Emma, we might need your help. You know, it is, we got it figured out. It's just a notion at this point.
Yeah. So let's keep this as I think we have to educate ourselves on exactly what the upcoming plans are. And then, you know, hopefully get some input on those, and then we can kind of form our plan or get suggestions from there.
Lindy, would it be appropriate to schedule Jerry to come down? We keep seeming to come back to this.
So Jerry,
Do you want me
Jerry,
to extend an invitation
yeah,
to him for the September meeting?
yes, let's do that. Okay. I think we should invite just Jerry, or should we invite Jeff Snyder to
Let me ask Jerry.
talk about?
Let me talk to Jerry
Okay,
about what.
sounds good.
And you can talk about improvements to the bridge over 99.
Yeah, Jerry was so excited about that today, because he was like a kid.
Yeah.
And because and then also, they're going to have, they're gonna repaint the bridge and have some sort of artistic relief on the top. And Jerry's excited because the woman who designed the Canby Arch is going to be working on this project. And she wanted to know if Jerry wanted her to come up with some designs that were coordinated and compatible. I happen to like that particular setup and value thing. And if that could be replicated on a relief over the Logging Road Bridge. And of course, we've got Boyd BBS Steel here with their latest laser cutting stuff that is CAD, put a picture in and it cut up to a 1-inch thick piece of steel down to a tolerance of 1/32 of an inch. Oh, and Boyer says they can even now do 3D cuttings. So we could have Italian 3D.
Wow.
It looks like a real thing, except it don't smell.
And Jerry can talk about improvements to the alleys.
Yeah. Any word on that, where that's coming down the pipeline? I'm sure, I mean, it's not contracted yet.
No, and there's an embarrassing thing about how that fell between the cracks in the budget process. So it's gonna be pushed out.
Okay.
Hate to tell the truth, but that's the truth. We were gonna use the savings out of the $6.6 million that we got by refinance or renewal funds. But instead, we said, okay, well, let's put it over here, and then it never got picked up before the budget got. So it was, there were a lot of moving parts. I was 1/6 of the problem, so.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, otherwise, so I think that's work in progress that we will have Jerry in September, and I'll make sure we get him in. Otherwise, yes.
I just want to touch base with everybody.
Yeah.
I'll write this letter to Parks Direct. I'll run it by you, but I'd like to present it next Tuesday to them. And hopefully I can get somebody to help make a video between now and then. Does that sound okay to everybody?
I don't understand.
What's the letter for?
For the gag line under 4.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We can figure out where they crashed a couple of bikes together.
Yeah.
But you got me good at bike. Not to me and you. Okay, this is what I did. I wanted to touch base
Yeah.
with Trevor. Following, we're all on the same page.
I think so. Are we good with that? Yeah. Okay, otherwise? All in favor of meeting adjourned? Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you. And Summer. And thank you very much. You are